Don't call us, we'll call you. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 celebrities who tried out for big roles.
If you like this video, then you'll love the original content over at our sister channel, Ms. Mojo, your source for all things pop culture, celebrity, and entertainment.
For this list, we're taking a look at A-list talent who auditioned for major motion pictures, but the role ultimately went to someone else. Number 10, Miles Teller for Sebastian Wilder in La La Land. Miles Teller delivered arguably his best performance in Damien Chazelle's Whiplash. The actor was set to re-team with director Damien Chazelle in La La Land, with Teller playing musician Sebastian Wilder.
City of stars, are you shining just for me?
Although Teller had already booked a role in War Dogs, he was willing to give up that project to star in the musical.
Of course. I am. I've been on the phone for the last 3 days making other arrangements.
Teller found out from his agent, however, that Chazelle was moving on without him, believing he was no longer creatively right for the part. While it's reportedly water under the bridge now, Teller initially sent Chazelle a text asking, "What the F, bro?" Ryan Gosling went on to play the jazz musician, winning a Golden Globe and earning an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. Number 9, Millie Bobby Brown for X-23 in Logan. Watching Logan, you might have noticed a few parallels between X-23 and Eleven from Stranger Things. Both are deadly young girls with superhuman powers and limited speech who spend most of their childhoods in a lab. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that Millie Bobby Brown auditioned for Laura. Although she didn't get the part, Brown described this as her best audition.
The best audition for me was Wolverine. I went for Logan, and I went for the little girl.
She was especially thrilled just to be in the presence of Hugh Jackman and director James Mangold. Brown also praised Daphne Keane, who won the role and earned widespread acclaim for her intense performances.
Laura. No.
Given how popular crossovers are nowadays, we'd love to see both of these actresses in X-23 versus 11. Number 8, Josh Hutcherson for Peter Parker in The Amazing Spider-Man. When it was announced that Spider-Man was getting a cinematic reboot, many fans speculated on who could fill Tobey Maguire's shoes. Josh Hutcherson was among several potential performers who made the shortlist to play Peter Parker. The young actor even filmed an extravagant screen demo complete with slick fight choreography. Although Andrew Garfield landed the role of Spidey, things still worked out pretty well for Hutcherson. The same year The Amazing Spider-Man hit theaters, Hutcherson starred as Peeta Mellark in The Hunger Games.
I just keep wishing I could think of a way to show them that they don't own me.
By the time that YA franchise wrapped up in 2015, yet another Spider-Man reboot was in production. Although Hutcherson once again expressed interest in playing the web slinger, Marvel went with Tom Holland.
I'm nothing without this suit.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it.
Number 7, Brad Pitt for Brian McCaffrey in Backdraft. Sometimes the stars align in Hollywood. Both Brad Pitt and Robert Downey Jr. auditioned for Brian McCaffrey in Backdraft.
No, sir. It's not going to happen. Sorry.
The part went to William Baldwin, who gave up the role of JD in Thelma and Louise to do the firefighter drama.
I'm not going to quit, Steven. You hear me? I'm not going to quit.
With Baldwin out, Downey Jr. and Pitt were considered to play the sexy drifter who woos Thelma. Downey Jr. was reportedly deemed too short, paving the way for Pitt to land his breakout role.
You're a real outlaw, aren't you?
Well, I may be an outlaw, darling, but you're the one stealing my heart.
Backdraft and Thelma and Louise were released on the same day in 1991. While Backdraft won the box office that weekend, Thelma and Louise was a bigger critical success and even received an Academy Award. Number 6, Matthew McConaughey for Jack Dawson in Titanic. Leonardo DiCaprio made Jack Dawson a household name, but he wasn't the only one up for the iconic role. In addition to Jeremy Sisto of 6 Feet Under, Matthew McConaughey was also competing to play Jack. Although the studio reportedly wanted McConaughey, director James Cameron fought for DiCaprio and ultimately got his way.
I auditioned with Matthew, isn't that weird?
It's interesting to think how McConaughey and DiCaprio's careers have intersected over the years. The two later appeared together in The Wolf of Wall Street, which earned Leo a Best Actor Oscar nomination.
Come on.
He'd ironically lose to McConaughey, however, for his work in Dallas Buyers Club. At least DiCaprio would get his Academy Award just 2 years later. Number 5, Jennifer Lawrence for Bella Swan in Twilight. Much like Hutcherson, Jennifer Lawrence was up for a couple of high-profile roles before breaking out as Katniss Everdeen. Considering how people are constantly comparing The Hunger Games and Twilight, it's weird to think that Lawrence was almost Bella Swan.
I volunteer as tribute.
As we all know, Kristen Stewart went on to play the teenage girl who falls unconditionally and irrevocably in love with Edward Cullen. Looking back on the experience, Lawrence stated, "I'd had no idea Twilight would be such a big deal. For me, and assuming for Stewart, it was just another audition. Then it turned into this whole other thing. Although Stewart beat out Lawrence, it seems there's no bad blood between them." Number 4, Scarlett Johansson for Judy Shepard in Jumanji. Now that Kirsten Dunst and Scarlett Johansson are all grown up, audiences sometimes forget that they were both child actresses back in the day. The two auditioned for the role of Judy Shepard in 1995's Jumanji, but Dunst was the one who got to star opposite Robin Williams.
Somebody roll a 5 or an 8.
He did.
Since Johansson was so young at the time, she wasn't especially bitter about losing the gig.
No, I wasn't bitter enough at then.
Yeah, now you're
I'm bitter.
Plus, it's not like her audition tape was Oscar caliber.
At first she will, but everybody will be better off this way.
Great things awaited on the horizon for both actresses. Number 3, Robert De Niro for Sonny Corleone in The Godfather. Robert De Niro's history with the Godfather films is as complicated as it is fascinating. The then relatively unknown actor originally auditioned for Sonny Corleone in the 1972 film.
You know what you do when you knock somebody off? You take a gun, you shoot him right up against his head. That's what you do. You get his brains all over your nice new Ivy League suit, Mike.
Although James Caan earned that role,
You gotta get up close like this. Bada bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
director Francis Ford Coppola kept De Niro in mind to play Paulie Gatto. Coppola had his heart set on casting Al Pacino as Michael Corleone, but he was already committed to starring in The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight. In order to keep Pacino on board, Coppola decided to trade De Niro.
What could I tell you?
Coppola would make it up to De Niro when he cast him as a young Vito Corleone in The Godfather Part 2, resulting in the actor's first Academy Award.
Mike.
Number 2, Tom Selleck for Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Having already worked with Harrison Ford on multiple films, George Lucas was apprehensive about casting him as Indiana Jones, despite director Steven Spielberg's optimism.
Did what I did. I don't expect you to be happy about it.
Tom Selleck did a screen test for the role opposite Sean Young, who'd incidentally go on to star in Blade Runner alongside Ford.
Implants. Those aren't your memories, they're somebody else's.
Although Selleck was offered the part, he was contractually committed to starring in a new show called Magnum P.I.
Did you see the sunrise this morning? Yes. Why?
With Selleck forced to walk away from the movie, Spielberg convinced Lucas to let Ford try on the fedora and break out the whip.
I did what I did. You don't have to be happy about it, but maybe we can help each other out now.
Due to a writer's strike that had delayed the production of Magnum, Selleck actually could have done both projects. By then, however, the Ark was sealed shut. Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Belle is the most beautiful girl in the village. That makes her the best.
So I presume you're Italian?
On my dad's side, I'm also Dutch, German, English. I'm a mutt.
Oh, you're right not to include that.
I know.
Number 1, Kurt Russell for Han Solo in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
What's that little droid carrying that's so blasted important?
Harrison Ford almost missed out on playing not one, but two of his most iconic characters. Kurt Russell is just one of several big names who tried out for Han Solo in Star Wars.
Oh, this would have taken 1,000 ships with more firepower than I've ever seen. If the Empire had some sort of new weapon that could do this, I'd have heard something. I'd know about it.
Although his audition went fairly well, Russell decided to walk away from the role and do an ABC Western instead. Ford, meanwhile, had been asked to simply read lines with the auditioning actors, and Lucas soon realized what was in front of him.
Our Starfleet couldn't destroy the whole planet or take 1,000 ships with more firepower than I've...
Don't feel too bad for Russell though, because he's had a great career, and even got to play Star-Lord's dad 40 years later. Speaking of modern sci-fi movies, Adam Driver beat out Oscar winner Eddie Redmayne for Kylo Ren in Star Wars The Force Awakens.
He would have disappointed you.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.